So what's up guys, another video. I've been asked a lot like, okay, so how do you do the B12s? How do you do the B12s? To be honest, I'm one of those people that barely farm the B12s because I guess I'm that far late game that I mainly just need artifacts for now, which is the biggest upgrade for me at the moment. Oops, can take that one down, haha. So yeah, I'm just gonna, in this video, I'm gonna go over like all the B12s that I'm running, how I'm running them, some replacements, and I'm gonna give some advice on like beginners, like more beginner friendly teams, stuff like that. And let's just get into it. First of all, I want to say one thing for people that saying like, hey, because like, so first of all, I want to say one thing. I said in the Punisher video already, if you cannot farm Punisher at B10, farm it at B7, farm it at B8, because the quality is different than runes. So you don't get 4, 5, 6 star. You actually get like just the color. So it's blue, purple, yellow. So getting a blue from B7 is the same as getting a blue from B10. It's no difference. That is not the same for B10, B11, and B12. B10, like we know, B12 gives 100% drop rate of 6 stars. B10 is 20%. I don't know the exact number, but I assume B11 will be 40 to 50%. I actually farm B11 on my alt account, my beginner account, because I cannot B12. B10 is pretty easy, but B11 is really doable, 2-minute runs, and that account is legit 3 weeks old. Like playtime is probably around like a little bit more than 2 weeks. So that is pretty easy to farm. And currently a lot of people saying like, oh, it's so difficult, I can't make my speed teams, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. I understand that, but then it's a trade-off for you, because let's say you farm B10 in 30 seconds. Let's say you farm B12 in 2 minutes 30 seconds. So that's a multiplier by 5. The drop rate of 6 stars are also multiplied by 5, so makes it easy. So pretty much you even out that. So min-maxing, you even out that. The question is, do you want to spend more energy or do you want to spend more time? So then it's the question up to you what you want to fill in. Okay, do I want to get more drops, spend more energy, probably get more mana, get more like whatever, or do I want to be more efficient with my energy and just spend more time? So that's a question that's up to you. And I can honestly say, if you're like a mid-game or beginner, these dungeons aren't gonna be easy. Like especially like Dragons B12 is gonna be pretty difficult, yes, for sure. Necro B12 is, that one is a bit easier. That one is actually like pretty easy. That one became pretty easy because it's kind of the same as B, like NB10. It's just a little bit more. It's not that crazy. But also your Giants B12, you have to focus some units to actually make it work. And I'm pretty sure if I focus the correct units, I have like pretty much no towers on my beginner account. Within a month, I can farm B12s consistently. Like I'm pretty sure, like well, not for like dragons, not for necro, maybe necro, I don't know, but like within a month or a month and a half, if I focus the correct units that I want to like upgrade and stuff like that, I'm pretty sure I can farm Giants B12 consistently. So it is possible. It's just gonna take some time, guys. We asked for more content, we got more content, we got stuff to do, and now people are complaining we got stuff to do. Like, what the fuck? But yeah, that's just my small rant. And one thing I do understand is with artifacts, mana is an issue, and that's for the majority of the players really a big issue. For me, not really. I just burned like 150 million mana, mostly on getting roll balls up. Mainly on roll ball shit, but yeah, what not. But yeah, that's just for me farming from before for way too long. So yeah, that's just my small advice. If you can't farm a certain dungeon, just go a step back, just go from there. Just continue doing your thing. Set your goals. That's really important. Keep farming. Set your goals. Know what you're aiming for. Know what you want to do. And from there, like, also try to get some artifacts, up some artifacts to +12. They help insanely much by increasing your dungeons, because in my teams you're gonna see everyone has artifacts, and I can guarantee you all of these artifacts are probably +15. Why? I have the mana for it. If you're like, he has all the mana and he just +15s everything and then it's so easy and blah blah blah, it's just take your time. Take a few weeks to farm the mana, take some time to get good artifacts, and you're gonna get there. It's like, the thing is, if things are reached to you too easily, it's gonna get boring. So let's not get things too boring, right? This is my least optimized team that I have, Giants B12. Yeah, this team, I barely looked at it. These Lucians don't one-shot the wave. Lauren is actually max Aki, because you do need like high accuracy for landing all of this stuff. I'll put a picture of like the stats like a little bit later. Thing is, this dungeon is actually not that difficult, but it just takes like a while. You don't do too much damage on it if you have like a more beginner account-ish. I haven't farmed this dungeon at all, besides once a day for the achievements, of course. And I actually used Savannah instead of Lynn, but like I thought, like, hey, free to play ish more. This team makes more sense. Okay, so what would I do differently? Like, let's say I start focusing on it. So I would place one Lucian. I would still use Lauren. I would probably use Fran into I think you know exactly who I mean. That I would remove Yen for Crow, and well, Friend is maybe like Friend. This is more like endgame-ish style. This is more like beginner-ish style. And then as final touch, you can add in. Would I still add in a second Lucian? No, like something. Could be anything. Could be like anything high damage. Could still be a Yen. Could still be like what are other people using? A Nomi I think is pretty good, and Arang is probably pretty good. Also good for the lead. No, you don't have, you have Crow in there, so it's probably not that good. So yeah, you can also check what other people are using. So if I would focus on this one, I would probably strategy, monster info. What are people using? People using Veramos again? Wow, that's old school. I think Naomi is a decent option. Laika is actually, that's a really interesting one. If you can bring your team to the end of the stage, Laika will solo the boss. Like, if your Laika is decently, like, fast enough that it doesn't get like stun locked, he will pretty much solo the boss. So if you want like a super beginner-ish, like, friendly team, I would go something like this, and then Laika. This is your like beginner-friendly team. Keep in mind, Lauren needs high AC. I'm gonna show you why. So these are the stats of the B12, and as you can see, a lot of shit has like high Eki. So here is 100 Eki, like straight, like 100, everything is high res, sorry. So this is like 100 res straight up, so you pretty much need like 85 Eki to run this like consistently, at least on your unit that wants to apply the debuffs like the most, which is Lauren in this case. So to go over the runes real quick, I'm moving on to the next dungeon. Lucian, this Lucian is actually, I used this Lucian in MB10. This Lucian is pretty decent rune, I'd say. That other Lucian is just my speed Lucian for the people that know my AOs. Friend, that's like just whatever runed. And then Lauren doesn't need to be that fast, and preferably 85 Aki, like I said, instead of 65. And then Yen is also like whatever runes. Yen is useful to have some more crit rate, but you don't need 94 because you actually need 80. Okay, so two of these units I'm gonna tell you I cannot show because they're in my siege defense, and the people that watch my siege videos, they know that I don't show like siege defense units. So also this dungeon became most difficult. So what does that mean? Like, hey, it became most difficult. Normally, NB10 would be most difficult. Currently, DB12 is most difficult. NB12 is like a fucking joke. But this team runs pretty well. However, I think I would just keep this team. Maybe like replace Galleon with something like Kali could work, Vert could work, anything could work. But then you're like, oh, super like pay to win. You have Martina, which is like super OP build and blah blah blah, and like, yeah, Martina's fucking cheat here. Martina's insanely fucking cheat here. I'm not gonna lie. But I'll give you some options of what you can do. Actually, I checked the video of Sean B earlier, and he has a really nice free-to-play team, which I'll also put the link to his video like down below, because, or just to his channel like down below. But that one was like, that's like, if I would be beginner accounts and I want to farm DB10 or DB12, I would probably look into that. And let me hit replay again. This team can run up to like just a bit below like a minute. It barely fails, like not at all actually. So his DB12 team was Vert. I think a lot of people will have to run Vert, Kali. He was using Lauren. He was using Spectra, and Spectra was the one that was catching my interest. That was the main reason I was like, okay, this actually works pretty well, because you put slow on like the main part, which is difficult about this dungeon right now, is the middle boss. Middle boss, if you don't kill it fast enough, the towers on the right, the first one's gonna arm break, the second one is gonna focus the same unit, and then it's already pretty much dead. Cyrus Ghost, you're pretty freaking dead. So you cannot survive like 2 or 3 hits from death. Spectra, however, third skill, slows, reduces attack bar, but also gives attack debuff, so that helps a lot. And then his last unit, I think, was a Crow. Crow is a unit I do not have at the moment, and therefore my Giants is shit, my Steel Fortress is shit. In Dragons and Necro, I wouldn't use it. Oh, and I just got like a new fastest time. That's how much I actually have run this dungeon before. As you can see, like I barely focused on this stuff. But you guys were curious about this team. So if you want like an early game team, I would recommend to go something like this. If you want to go like more end game-ish shit, I have seen like Rogue +1. Like this is pretty heavy, but it seems to be like pretty much a thing. Also, Rogue and Crow seem to be like quite hardcore, like throughout the whole patch, like throughout like all of the dungeons, everything. So if you haven't 2-8 these yet, these two are really useful to 2-8 and Jiltan. But that's for the video of the Punisher, which is also linked in the description. So another successful run, a little bit longer. So let's check the runes. Like I said, I cannot show the runes from Galleon because he's in my siege defense. I cannot show the runes from Martina because also in siege defense. But what did I do here? Talia is pretty tanky. I have Talia lead. Main reason for that, Talia lead is not really necessarily here. I could switch Galleon for something, and then I do have a more useful lead probably on that slot. But my Talia has high damage, and it's not violent for one reason, which is just adding more damage. And then Martina can bring her more often. Also, I do not want to add a second Talia because I want a Talia that's most damage like added into it every time. Sabrina actually goes later, like after Talia. Reasoning for that is the Punisher. But also I noticed that actually having Talia going before, buffing herself on the attack buff, and then have Sabrina the possibility to proc while Talia is still on attack buff, actually adds a lot more like adds quite some damage, which doesn't make it that bad to have Talia move before Sabrina. But technically you want armor break first and then, but also we have another armor breaker, which is Rogue, and we have Martina as armor breaker. So then it doesn't really matter because Martina is actually high Eki. You do need the high Eki here again. So if you make like a Lauren, if you make a Spectra, aim for that high Aki, because I'm gonna show you again, you need some high Aki. See, as you can see, again, you need pretty high Aki. You do not need 85, but you need 65, because you have to top off like the 80 minus 15, 65 Aki is what you need. So for the last dungeon, Necro, I actually, like, someone in my guild was like, oh, at least I have a faster Necro team than Say, and I was like, competitive me. Okay, let's make a team that's faster than his, and this team actually managed to do so. Necro is really simple. You just throw 4 twins plus something, and then you're pretty much good to go. Like 4 twins and a Fran, you're good to go. 3 twins, raw oak and a Fran, you're good to go. Anything like that, you're good to go pretty much. So I actually noticed Lucian AI is pretty not that bad, like, at all. So this team, I haven't seen it fail yet. I kind of expected it to be able to fail, but I haven't seen it fail yet. The homunculus was pretty much just there because like 4 units out of this team came straight out of my Punisher team, like the Punisher Crypt team. So I just was able to take those units, add in a Lucian, team done. And this haven't filled yet, and it's mostly around like 45 seconds to like 1 minute ish. Fastest on 42 seconds. What are the runes? So this is my Lucian, Ridgeblade, and like I said, I have artifacts and I max artifacts. This is the rogue, a little bit of upgrade since the Punisher team. And then this is the Sabrina and same Talia that you've seen in Dragons. And then the homunculus, which actually uses an accuracy set, which kind of helps as well. And I'll show you the stats of this dungeon. So this is actually quite a bit easier, as you can see in the stats already. Like the defenses of the units, like the Lich King, is like not that crazy. It's like 3,000 for the freaking dragon. And also like the accuracy you actually need is a lot lower. So my Talia and my homunculus are too, or like my Sabrina and my homunculus are too low on accuracy. My rogue as well, but it still pretty works actually. So another question I get is like, is Julie, because that's like a lot of people from my channel actually know me because of like the Julie AOs, or like the Julie AOs, the Julie teams. Is Julie teams dead? I do think so. The main issue is with Julie, doing enough damage on the middle boss is too difficult to actually get through. Like the middle boss and the final boss, it's so, like killing the waves, like the double, like doing Julie Lucian, Julie, what else did I do? Julie Shina, Julie Lucian, those kind of like 2 tick or 2 hits wave clear. Still pretty possible. Like I can honestly easily do that even without artifacts. The issue is the moment you get to the boss stage, it gets really difficult. So maybe when I get to the point where I have enough artifacts which are crazy good that I might be able to do it, I will try it for sure. But it's gonna be hella difficult, because normally the most easy one to Julie Lucian, or like Julie in general, was Dragons, and Dragons became the most difficult dungeon, and therefore making Julie just becomes so much more difficult, because the one that was the most simple became most difficult. So you probably have to start with the Julie team in Giants, which would be possible, like going Julie, Lucian, Lauren +2. But the issue is, if Lucian takes 2 turns in the middle boss, he will start to amputation magic already. Same for Julie. They will start to do their 3rd skill already. So you need to kill the middle boss fast enough, consistently. So let's say you would go like Lauren Crow +1. Then you would still need the Crow plus the Lauren plus the +1 to always kill the boss. So let's say you would go, also another issue is The method with Luna is a lot more difficult because the base speed of all of these units are a lot more. Before you could outspeed them with like 123 plus towers. So 123 speed plus towers. Currently they have like 160 speed or something, or 170 speed. I don't really know exactly. So you need a lot more speed to actually get through that stage. So if you want to make Luna double hit, you need to have a lot faster. You probably need like a 180, 190 Julie, and to have the tick in the certain stage where Luna can hit twice, and then your Crow can follow up. So that's just a lot of, maybe with really good artifacts, some rune upgrades, it might be possible, but it's pretty darn difficult. That's like 1 in a 0.001% of the population could maybe make that team, if it's even possible. Am I gonna try it when I get better artifacts? Oh hell yeah. Oh hell yeah. Am I gonna actually run it when I have it? I'm not too sure, because it's that high of an investment in runes that I probably have to jack out my BG5, which is actually super easy right now, so that doesn't really matter. But like my main Lucian, my main Talia, so all of that kind of stuff. So I would have to scuff like a lot of teams, because currently you need to run 5 teams. So you have 5 dungeons you farm, whereas before you had just 3. So your rune spread is a little bit more. Can you use a lot of the same units for all 5 dungeons? With Rogue and with Crow, those are 2 units that can be used in pretty much all of the dungeons. Like let's say you go, let's say you want to make a team that consists of the most duplicate of like the most units in like all stages. So let's say wait, let me write them down. So GB, DB, NB, SB, FB for just simple, or no, wait, it's PB. Huh? So if you use Fran, Crow, Rogue, you can actually use Fran in 5/5. You can use Crow in 5/5. You can use Rogue in 4/5. So those are units you can just fill in with like pretty much all of it. Like if you have these 3 runed up like good, sure, Fran is not your best in slot most of the time. Crow and Rogue might not always be the best in slot, but if you rune them up, you can actually use them at all. One issue is, however, if you want to use this in PB, you need 3x will, and in the others not. So that's already an issue. So I would kind of say this 4 to 5 as well, and PB you would go Jilton. So yeah, if you want to make like overlapping units, go for these. And from there, Lauren is actually one that you could use in GB, DB, NB not really, so that's still 2. SB, yeah, Lauren is 4/5 as well. I would, no wait, Lauren is 3/5 because not in NB, not in PB. So besides that, the twins, you could go like water twins. You could use, I wouldn't use them in GB. DB is possible, so that's, no wait, one that's more common is Vert. So Vert is DB, SB, PB, so that's 3/5. So, and then water twins would be DB, NB, and PB, so it's also 3/5. So if you're looking for units that you can do in multiple dungeons, or like not have 2 specific teams, those are some options you have. So yeah, just like if you don't have that much of a rune, like especially for like more mid game or like early game players, you want to rune up like all of your teams at the same time, kind of. So these are some units to focus on, which are pretty much like pro PvE units right now, which can fit in like most teams. There's probably a few more units, but I think these are the main thing. And best thing is all of these are free to play. All of these are fusible to a free to get whatever SDs, anything. They're all free to play. So if you're focusing like early game, mid game on PvE stuff, get those. Well, probably already have, but whatever. Am I failing this run? No, I'm not failing this run. So that's pretty much it for my B12 teams. Yeah, that's it. There's not too much to it. I haven't looked into it that much. It's just like I figured out my teams, I used them a little bit, and that's all. So I've been mostly focusing on Punisher. I've been working on Steel Forest as well. Fortress, probably Fortress, makes more sense. So that video is coming up. Another video that's coming up first before that, because I do not have Crow yet, and I want to have Crow before I actually make the Steel Forest team, because currently my Steel Forest team looks a little bit like this, which is pretty doesn't like, yeah, it's goes down to like a minute. It's not that great. Like people with like 10 times worse room quality have like twice as fast as runs. So just missing some units, and I do miss skill ups. I would have so hoped this would have been the secret dungeon for this month, but apparently it's a Drunken Master. Or was it the Drunken Master? I don't know. It was something useless. But yeah. So that video is upcoming. So if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel. Another video that's upcoming, and I think that one is really interesting, is artifacts and looking at artifacts at the actual stats. Because I think a lot of people are like, oh, farming artifacts is like impossible because I want to get this one really specific thing and I don't get it. It's like, yeah, no. You want like a quad roll speed and you're also not gonna get it, right? So on your exact rune that you exactly want. So yeah, okay. But I think people are selling too many artifacts. I think a lot of artifacts are really good, but I will talk about that in the next video. So this video is already way too long. So guys, like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching, and see ya in the next one.